Good evening. Welcome to our 4 p.m. Zoom class. I just want to make a quick announcement. Last night, the system was down, and I know several of you were not able to log in. I did reopen the daily assignment. You know, your labs are already open through Sunday, but your daily assignment was reopened for last night. Also, the system will be down for about an hour tonight between 6 p.m. and 7:30 or 7 p.m. So you will not be able to get into the system during that time, but you will be able to get back on. We're in the process of switching to a new platform. So we're going to have some little clicks and, nicks and glitches and a little bit of everything while they're trying to connect us to a new platform. So please be patient. If you're able to email your assignments, please email them to me. And also, your exam was open for today, and that exam needs to be completed by Sunday. Remember that we're coming to the end of this module. We're going to be on day 26 tomorrow. This is a 40-day module. So the next few chapters are like 1-day chapters, 2-day chapters. They're going by really, really fast because there's a lot of information. Unless you're going to be specializing in a certain field, you won't need to know all of that information because the doctor will be doing the majority of the information as for charting. You're just going to have to know how to code the information. So I know this, and then make sure that you all are reading your syllabus. That gives you the objectives. I've noticed that when I post the objectives for you all to be able to know what we're covering, but I'm noticing that a lot of people are doing all of the objectives for the assignments. You only need to do the questions that state submit. Only the questions that state submit. You do not have to do everything that I'm posting. I'm just letting you know as to what objectives we're covering and like to help you look for as far as information. And also, again, when I'm posting and I'm putting diagrams, if you can't see the actual vocabulary that's next to it, look in your book. There's a similar diagram. It doesn't have to be identical as long as where those arrows are pointing, and you can look at the picture and determine where everything goes. So even when you're in an office and you're working, everything is not going to be the exact same way, but you're going to have to know and learn how to familiarize yourself. And it's not going to be perfect, but okay, if this arrow is pointing here and you look at another diagram or something, you know that that's basically a similarity. So just pay attention to those things. And believe it or not, I did that on purpose because I know that's how they do things in the doctor's office. A lot of times they might say, okay, well, you have to code this even for your exams. It might not be the exact diagram that you want, but you have pictures and okay, if it's pointing to the aorta, then you know that the aorta is not at the bottom of the picture, it's at the top. So everything doesn't have to be right there for you to see, but the diagrams and where certain things are located. So we have to use our brain sometimes just to stretch a little bit to become familiar and knowing that everything doesn't have to be the exact same, but you can use resources and other diagrams to figure out where things need to go. So I know we're going to start on chapter 18 today. Let me share my screen. So chapter 18 is the hemic, lymphatic, mediastinum, and diaphragm. So with this chapter, a lot of it is simple, like coding, long as you know where things are located. The doctor will document everything in that chart. You'll just have to know how to code it. This is a very quick chapter. If you look right here, it says you look at that chapter 18, and then next chapter is chapter 19, the digestive system. So this chapter, I think it's only 2 days, 1 or 2 days, this chapter. So make sure that you're reading in your syllabus, your PowerPoint slides. So this is not going to be a lot of information to cover. So we're going to start chapter 18, which starts tomorrow because your exam started today, which is due on Sunday. So on here, the objectives that's going to be covered, it's really 3 objectives that you all will be covering. Review the hemic and lymphatic system subsection format, understand the hemic and lymphatic system subheadings, demonstrate the ability to code hemic and lymphatic system services. Like I said, it's a 1 or 2 day course. So the format, and this is one of your daily assignments. So if you're paying attention and you're reading and you're looking at the information, you shouldn't have problems with getting the information for your daily assignments. The hemic and lymphatic system format. The hemic and lymphatic system subsection is 38100 through 38999. So if you're going into 40,001, then you know you're in the wrong section for the hemic and lymphatic systems. So that should assist you all when you're looking for certain things, when they have codes. You know the range. You have to know the code range. So if you don't know that code, if the code range is saying 38,100 to 38,999 and you in 52,000 looking for something, you already know that you're nowhere near the correct coding. So pay attention to your code ranges. And it tells you the hemic and lymphatic system subsection, the code range is divided into subheadings. So the format is the hemic and lymphatic systems. This is the subsections, but then this subsection is divided into subheadings. The subheadings are spleen, general, and lymph nodes and lymphatic channels. Further division is based on the type of procedure. So the type of procedure for this would be excision, incision, and repair. And if you remember, in the majority of the chapters that we've been covering in this module has been about excision, incision, and repair. The codes for spleen and lymph nodes are located in the CPT manual index under main terms such as spleen, lymph nodes, or bone marrow. And so just look at the little diagram. You won't have to know everything, but you need to know where the certain parts, your lymph nodes, the auxiliary nodes. So certain things like that, the diaphragm, just pay attention to the diagram because you'll have to know when you get ready to code like certain little systems where it's located. Coding highlights the spleen. The spleen is composed of lymph tissue and is located in the left upper quadrant of the abdomen. So if you look at that diaphragm, and you can look at both sides, intercostal nodes, they're showing you this, the diaphragm, auxiliary nodes, so it's pointing and showing you where the things are located. Also in your CPT manual, they have beautiful diagrams that you can look at to find those things as well. The spleen is easily ruptured and may result in massive hemorrhage. The spleen initiates an immune response, filters, removes bacteria from the bloodstream, and destroys worn and blood cells, worn out blood cells. A person can live without a spleen. So remember that a person can live without a spleen because the bone marrow, liver, and lymph nodes take over the work of the spleen after a total removal, and that's a splenectomy. So remember that a person still can live without a spleen because the bone marrow, liver, and lymph nodes takes over. Codes in the subheading spleen 38,100 through 38,200 are further divided into categories of excision, repair, laparoscopy, and introduction. Codes in the excision category are based on the type of splenectomy, total, partial, or total for extensive diseases. The splenectomy total and partial carries the designation, the separate procedures behind the code description. And this is the code range. This means that if the splenectomy is an integral part of another procedure, it is bundled into the primary procedure codes and not reported separately. So remember, I told you, always read your coding shots. That's going to basically help you. The coding shot says, if a repair of a ruptured spleen was performed and the surgeon removed only a portion of the spleen, you would report only the repair code, which is 38115, because removal is bundled into the primary repair code. So you might want to highlight that because that's very important to know. If they repaired it, then it is reported 38115 because removal is bundled into the primary repair code. So we're going to go now to the PowerPoint slides, which is going to break it down a little further for you. Hemic and lymphatic systems, the subsections. So if you're reading your PowerPoint slides, you should be getting a lot of your daily assignments correct. The subsections is excision, repair, and introduction. The divisions of that is the spleen, general, lymph nodes, and lymphatic channels, which we just reviewed. Next, it says, look at the code range for the spleen. Spleen easily ruptured, causes massive hemorrhage, may require splenectomy total or partial. This is the code range for the spleen, 38100 to 38200. Codes for spleen are further, and it tells you in that gray section at the bottom, into excision, repair, laparoscopy, and introduction. It tells you, why can a person live without a spleen? And we just went over that. The bone marrow, liver, and lymph nodes take over the work of the spleen. Often done as part of more major procedure and is bundled into major procedure. General. So if it's general, codes divided based on aspiration, biopsy, harvesting, transplantation, and fusion. This is that code range, 38204 through 38243. It says, what is a bone marrow needle aspiration? What is its code? When a sample of bone marrow is withdrawn by a needle from the marrow cavity, and look at the code range, 38220, and it tells you aspiration, right here, the first one, general, 38204 to 38243. This code is 38220, so see, it's within that code range, aspiration. It says, what is involved in a bone marrow biopsy? What is the code for this procedure? Small pieces of marrow are withdrawn and the lab dissolves these in a solution. Then the substance is analyzed. 38221, still within that code range. What is bone marrow harvesting? What is the code for this procedure? A larger amount of marrow is aspirated from a donor, which is 38230. How is bone marrow transplanted? Taken from the donor and injected into the recipient. Next, general. Type of cells: allogenic, close relative, autologous, patient's own, hematopoietic, progenitor, what is that? Yeah, progenitor cells, HPC, bone marrow, peripheral blood, apheresis, and umbilical cord blood. So if you notice, a lot of times they've been taking these cells, they take the blood from the umbilical cord and they freeze it. And this, they have been using this for a few years now, where they freeze the umbilical cord blood. Autologous cells are collected from the patient and reinfused later into the same patient. Why would it be advantageous to collect stem cells from a close relative? Because there is genetic similarity. What are the codes for the harvesting and return of blood to donor? That code range right there, 38205 to 38206. Lymph nodes and lymphatic channels. Two types of lymphodensitomies. Limited, lymph nodes only, radical, lymph nodes, submandibular gland, and surrounding tissue. Term complete, same as radical neck dissection. So with this, you'll see the doctor is going to be, he will be in control of all of this, but this will be documented in the chart. You'll just have to know where to chart, where you would look at. So you will be looking in the lymph nodes and lymphatic channels. The code range 38300 to 38999. What is the purpose of the lymphatic system? To transport fluids, proteins, and fats through the lymphatic channels back to the bloodstream. Lymph nodes and lymphatic channels, you can read through this, is the same code range. Modified radical neck, that's removal of all lymph nodes routinely removed by radical neck dissection while preserving the internal jugular vein, the spinal accessory nerve, and the sternocleidomastoid muscle. This is a unilateral procedure. Lymphodensectomies, often bundled into more major procedures. Do not unbundle and report lymphadenectomy separately. Here is a diagram of the mediastinum. Sorry about that. There's a student trying to get in again. So that is a diagram, area between the lungs. Area between the lungs. Where does the mediastinum and diaphragm subsection fall into the CPT book? Directly after the cardiology subsection. And if you see, this is basically all of the PowerPoints. Mediastinum, this is the code range, 39,000 to 39,499. Assigned by approach, incision codes for foreign body removal or biopsy, excision codes for removal of cyst or tumor, endoscopy and repair. Diaphragm, 39,501 through 39,561. Only category is repair. Most codes for hernia or laceration repairs, codes indexed in CPT manual under diaphragm. And see, that's it. So that was the only PowerPoint slides for chapter 18. So it's a very short chapter. Like I said, it's a 1 or 2 day course. The next few chapters you won't have an exam for because you'll be getting close to your final exam. So with the next few chapters, it's going to be like 3 or 4 chapters combined. Then you'll have your final because these chapters are so small, like 1 and 2 day chapters. I know next week, one of your chapters is 1 day only. So you won't be having an exam for that. But what I'll be giving to help you all with some extra points, I might give like the pre-test, 5 or 10 questions to help boost your grade, giving you that, so make sure you review these PowerPoint slides. Make sure you just review the chapter itself. It's very, very short. If I go back to the actual book, like it's showing you, it's very, very short. Make sure that you're reading your coding shots. And then your CMS rules. Centennial mole biopsy may be indicated in breast carcinoma and is eligible for Medicare reimbursement when the following conditions are met. This is the kind of stuff you have to know in these chapters because you all will be doing billing and coding. So it's telling you here, carcinoma, what is the indicator in breast carcinoma, and is eligible for Medicare reimbursement when the following conditions are met. Clinical stage 1 and 2 carcinoma of the breast with no palpable lymph nodes in the axilla, and if a second sentinel node is excised from a different lymphatic chain. So this is the type of information you all will have to know when it comes to billing and coding for reimbursement. Then it goes down. They're showing you here in your book the mediastinum. And it's telling you about the incision, the difference between the mediastinum codes, excision, and endoscopy in the diaphragm. So here's a picture of the diaphragm. The liver, pancreas, stomach, and spleen. So this is how it looks inside your body. This is the diaphragm, your liver. The pancreas is right here. This is the stomach and your spleen. This is actually what it looks like inside of your body. There is one code for infiltration of the diaphragm. An infiltration of the diaphragm may be performed for eventraction, which is when the diaphragm moves up, usually because of the paralysis of the diaphragmatic nerve. In this case, the surgeon sutures the diaphragm back into place. The diaphragm back into place. I just want you all to go through those coding shots and see this is the end of it. The chapter review glossary. So it's very, very short because you won't really be doing too much with this system except billing and coding reimbursements. Very, very short chapter. And basically your answers to your daily assignment and things is in this one little section and in your PowerPoint slides. Let me stop sharing. Any questions or concerns? So before we go on and we end, I want to congratulate Miss Ashley again. She passed her MOA certification exam. Ashley, if you don't mind, can you tell us how was that exam, and some information that can help some others that might want to go ahead and take that exam?
I studied like the practice test pretty hard, but it's the medical insurance part and the like ethics that was mostly on there. It's situational, kind of. It's not word for word like off the study guide. You got to kind of look at each question as like what you would do, I guess. But I mean, it was easy to go in and take it, and wasn't a big ordeal or anything. The test wasn't easy. But
So were you able to get in contact with the Miss Demetria?
yeah, I sent him my resume and I'm waiting to hear back from him. So try to get me something like medical office so I can get my foot in the door.
Right.
At least.
Right. So was it a lot of like scenarios on that exam?
Yeah. It was like all scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay,
so that's what I want you all to pay attention. Yeah. And it's multiple choice. It is multiple choice, but you have to read it in its entirety. Because I know then too, they had a lot of like trick questions. Like, tricky, like.
Yeah, when I started taking it, it was a little bit different from the study guide. So because I put a lot of emphasis on like medical terminology and stuff, which you still have to, but I was sweating it for a second, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. And then once it started getting the hang of the way the questions were written out,
and
then
you
I was
passed.
Like, yeah, I was excited.
Yes, great job. And
Thank
that's
you.
why I tell you to make sure you pay attention, and you have to know those abbreviations, the medical terminology, and just, majority of it is scenarios, and they want to know if you actually know the information. So that's why I stress a lot when you all are doing your assignments, going in the back of the book, getting the answers is not going to be helpful when it comes time to the certification exams. You have to know the information because you're not going to have the answers in front of you. It's multiple choice, but you still have to know the information. So I say again, and I'm going to keep repeating, I know you all are probably tired of me saying it, but you're cheating yourself when you're just getting the answers out the back of the book. Yes, you might be getting hundreds all the time on these daily assignments, but I've had students to get straight hundreds, straight A's, and fail the certification exam because they use the back of the book for everything. And then also I said I pay attention because when it comes time for the exams, you're getting all of the information and the codes right on your daily assignments and your labs, and then you're getting the coding wrong on your exams. So that's telling me that you really do not know how to find the codes on those assignments. You're just getting the information out the back of the book. That's not going to help you. Use that as a resource. And I keep saying, and I can't stress enough, if you need help with coding, you need help with any information, call me so we can do a one-on-one. You know, you have to reach out, you have to communicate, and we can set aside some time to do an actual coding session. I did put on how to tab your books. It's the same for the ICD-10, because I know in some of these exercises, you do need to know you're going to use your ICD-10 book, which is similar to the CPT as far as your tabbing. The ICD-10 book does not come with the tab, so you would need to get you some tabs. You can get it from Dollar Tree, Walmart, Amazon, Office Max, Office Depot, places like that. But Dollar Tree have them for $1. Well, everything is $1.25 now. So, you know, or you can make them with the little stickies, you know, until you're able to get something. You have to be, you know, you got to think outside the box if you don't have, you know, the resources on how you can label your manual. So please look at your study packets, look at the different questions they have, make sure that you're studying. Remember again that tonight for about an hour to an hour and a half, we will be offline. They're trying to update some systems before we go to the new platform. So please keep that in mind. If it goes on later, I will reopen the assignment again, but I did reopen yesterday's assignment. If you didn't email it in, remember your exam for chapter 17 is open today and will be open through Sunday. And I'm gonna have to look and see if you have an exam for Monday. Like I said, the system's been glitching, so I can't really see it, but I'll be able to notate that. And I'll send you all some emails tomorrow in reference to the assignments and how we're going to do with those other exams. Did you all receive that email about the grant assistance for tuition assistance?
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah, I sent it through an email. So you should have received that. Oh, you can't get the emails, Misty, you said through your e-learning?
No.
Okay, so did any one of you, were you all able to attend for 1 p.m.?
I was not.
You were able to attend, Ashley?
Oh, that was today?
Yes.
Oh, I was planning it for it tomorrow. I guess I missed it.
Yes, it was today for 1 p.m. But
And I didn't see the email until about 4 o'clock.
but the information is there for you to follow up, and it's for tuition assistance, and also if you can apply and you can get money back if you don't use all of the tuition assistance. So make sure that you all, make sure that you all look into that, because it is you can get some assistance. So just try to read and look into it. The information is there for you to check, and if you need to, you know, contact someone, you can. Any questions or concerns? Remember, these last few chapters we're going through are going to be Speedy Gonzalez. I mean, 1 and 2 days. So
I don't have any questions or concerns, but here lately, when I've been taking the exams, I've kind of been going through and skimming like the questions and seeing what section I need to go into. I've kind of noticed that, like, I guess that's kind of catching up with me now, I guess.
And look at those code ranges. You know, when you're in your book, because you're able to have your books open, it's online. So you're able to use all the resources you have. when you're in your book, look at the code range. And so if you know that you're in 40,000 and that code range, like we just said, is 38 to 38,999, and you somewhere in 45 and 50, you know that you're out of range. So pay attention, though. That's really helpful to pay attention to the code range.
Just like the other night, I was doing my homework and I was sitting there, and you know how when you're reading a question and you read it out loud?
Mm-hmm.
I was doing that to myself. My fiance looked at me and he was like, "Are you talking to yourself?" I'm like, "Hush, I'm doing my homework. Leave me be."
Yes, so it's just like, just paying attention to those code ranges. That's going to really help you a lot, the range. And like I said, the chapters that we're going through now, a lot of that information is going to be documented by that nurse or doctor or that, person who's specializing in that area. But you're going to have to know on what section you need to look in to be able to get the correct code for reimbursement and billing.
Yeah.
So that's why these chapters are so short, because you don't have that much to do except knowing where to go, where to go in that system to get the correct coding for that company to get reimbursed and for you to maintain your job and employment.
I'm actually proud of myself. I didn't break down in cardiovascular.
Right. You see that? So, Ashley, have you decided, not Ashley, I'm sorry, Misty, when are you going to take that MOA exam?
Probably within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start studying for it.
Okay.
That way I can kind of, like Ashley, I can get my foot in the door.
Right.
Because I have to do something.
Valentina, you were saying something?
I was trying, could you send me a copy of that MOA study guide?
Sure will.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Jared, you plan on taking it?
Not yet.
Come on, Jared. Come on.
Not yet. So I mean, you have time.
That's it. I still gotta learn this language.
That's right. And that's what I'm saying. Reading and learning that medical terminology and trying to look at some of the systems. That's what I'm saying. Pay attention to those diagrams and things like that. That's really, really helpful. And you'll get it. I mean, you all are doing a great job. I don't know if that I posted in this module, those MOA packets or whatever, but I'll post them all again. But if it's not today because of the system being, what they're doing with the system, if I don't get it in tonight, I'll have it for you all and I'll post it tomorrow morning. I'll do them all again. And what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start posting them in every module so that you all have them readily available in the module in that great section of e-learning. So I'll have, Ashley, you're going to be finishing real soon.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Why? You passed the MOA, you keep making you're getting overwhelmed and you're doing great.
Yeah, well, I have a question. I joined like some Facebook medical encoding groups, and they're saying that after December they're going to get rid of multiple choice, and it's going to be fill in the blank. I don't know if anybody else heard that.
They didn't tell us that yet with the certification.
That's the first I've heard of it, but I'll be crunching to get it done before December. I think they're going to start in January. I don't know. I hope not.
Well, and like I didn't hear anything about that. I'm gonna have to ask our certification person if she's aware of that. Because I know they were talking about stuff earlier saying that with multiple choice, they was feeling that, people have systems, how they know how to get the answers on multiple choice, how to do it. And, for those tests, but like I'm saying, this is such an available field now. It's in high demand for billers and coders. So I guess, as more people get into it, they try to make the process harder and harder,
Hence
but
the reason I came for a second
if you know how to
round.
find the codes, and believe me, if it's filling the blank, they're still going to let you have code ranges, knowing that you know what area you're supposed to look in. It's not that you have to hit it directly on the nose, but you have an idea of where you need to be. And that's why on the exams, when I mark it, like it might be 10 points, but I might say I'm giving you 7 or 8 points because you're in the right area. But like you all are not experts. Really, even people who've been coding for 20 and 30 years with all the changes that are taking place, they make errors as well. So you all are in school to learn. So I'm not going to penalize you for, oh, if you 4 or 5 numbers off, you're in that range.
I was kind of bummed with my last exam because I thought I did really, really well. And then it showed me what I did, and I was like, man, I thought I did good.
You did good. You did good. Yeah, so
But
I
I
mean,
was
it's just like paying attention to those ranges, that's all. But I still do give credit when you're in that right range. I don't just mark it wrong.
right. I
So
think it was like a couple of questions I had missed.
okay, so I'm gonna put that information, like I said, tonight. If I don't get it tonight, if I'm shut out, because even though you all might have access sometimes, the instructors don't. When they're having a glitch, they just want you all to be able to get in. So if I'm not able to get in there tonight, I will post all of the insurance packets, the medical terminology. I'll post all of that again. And then so you all, and I'll start just posting it in every module. So you all can print it, make copies, or do what you would need to do. And I'll just start posting it in every module for you all.
Well, I know what I'm going to be doing the next couple of weeks.
Studying. So
Studying.
remember that exam is open till Sunday. This new chapter starts on tomorrow. Read those quick few little PowerPoint slides, read through the chapter, make sure you're paying attention to your code ranges. And you all have a great and fabulous weekend. Stay safe. And I will see you all next week. I will be posting a video as well, a YouTube video for you all for this chapter as well. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, everybody.